What is good, YouTube? Hello again, and welcome back to another daily sculpting and yapping. Today is a little different. I have a friend here, Janice, and we decided to do a challenge today. We will take a sculpt and we will each work on one, and after 20 minutes we are going to save the OBJ and send it to each other. A video, I believe, will be up on her channel, and you can see that in the description. I highly recommend going and checking her out, seeing her side of things. Awesome sculptor and amazing funny videos. But yeah, I'm starting off here and working on some little dude. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. For the first 20 minutes, I'm trying to block out the whole body, which is something that I feel like I mistakenly done. I should have worked on just the bust first, which is what she did, and I think it came out amazing. But I'm doing a lot here. I think I'm doing too much, but that's fine. They end up filling it out and it looks amazing. But I'm just going in, trying to get some vibes, trying to put some muscles, trying to get the arms. I'm really trying to just get like the main position or feel of it. I feel like I don't have enough time to flesh it out, but pretty happy with at least the idea that it's going. Nice, I like it. It's looking a lot better than where I'm at. I then get her model in and I instantly start adding the body for that one. She only worked on the bust, which looks amazing. I gotta add, like it is super cool. So I tried to do it some justice and start adding some shapes in. I initially was just going to take the lazy way out and just do a dragon neck or something like that, but I decided that would be kind of lame, so I'm giving it some sort of dog-like shape. It's very similar actually to the last sculpt I did. I guess I just had some of those vibes going on in my brain. It's probably gonna add, as much as I keep saying this, don't do what I do, but we are both not working with reference just for the sake of the challenge. We just thought it'd be fun to not have any reference or any inspiration or anything up, just blind in, and if it looks bad, it looks bad. But yeah, don't do that. Yeah, in order to get good, you need to look at things that are good. You can't just jump in blind. I promise you, when I first started, I was constantly looking at reference, and it's like, okay, today I'm practicing arms, today I'm practicing legs, and I kept doing it until I got a little better. And even in like a big project, you're gonna want reference. Just don't work about it. Yeah, I'm liking him. He's like a big, he's gripping his shit. That ain't even his belly, that's just his.
Look, makes a jump so he can cover it.
I'm putting a giant black sensor box there. I got the model back and they definitely added so much more character to it. It looks so much better than the skinny little version it was. It has some meat to its bone and some actual good design shapes. I instantly jump in and I start adding in some polypaint, something that I like to do. They don't do it, but on their end in Blender, they still get to see the polypaint, but I like doing it just because what's a character without, texture on it in my eyes, and it helps separate the materials and textures and stuff that I'll always go over why I do, and I'll probably always still go over it. The basic technique I did with this guy is I just painted the back a darker color, and then I painted the front a lighter color, and I went over it. If I knew what it would look like, which you'll see at the end, I would have made him a lot more lighter color, because I was unaware that this guy will, spoiler alert, end up being riding the big dude at the end. But I'm just going through, added some nipples to him, and going over. Also, sorry about the Discord audio in the background being a little laggy. I probably should have tested that, but it sounds very loud on her end. But in the future, I will be fixing that. But yeah, continuing working on this as they work on the other part, and then went ahead and sent it on over. Alright, there we go. His head's like his eyes are where his nose are. He's been squanched.
Looks like a cat's skull now.
It does. I like it. Got theirs back. They took the head, and while sculpting, they accidentally, I believe, used the pinch tool or some sort of tool and accidentally shrunk it up. It ended up looking super funny though, so they ended up keeping it. They also blocked out the feet and got the feet shape. However, neither of us ended up working on the feet. I work on it at the end, but during the challenge, we all avoided feet and we avoided hands like the plague, and honestly, I don't regret it, and I don't think they do either. When working on a character, the hardest things to do is the head, hands, and feet, and the head is what you're going to mainly be attracted to, so it makes sense to work hard on that, and the feet and hands are something that you can be attracted to, but with the base shapes grabbed, I think putting our time elsewhere in the design is better.
You should have given him nuts, you know.
Well, but you still have time. You still have time.
How much?
7 minutes, 30 seconds. That's enough
Oh
time.
yeah. I have.
So going in, and this is where it gets really crazy. I put in some colors and shapes, and then I'm like, okay, 5 minutes left, let's do some crazy stuff. So I go ahead, I duplicate the tail, and I move that around for the back, and then I go in and I add some little orb things going out, and just making it look crazy. Its composition is a little wild after doing all this, but I just thought it would look cool, and I think it did end up looking pretty cool. You got all twirly.
Hold on. Show the front.
Does he have?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's got a little fucking black sack.
Why is it black?
Hold up. Wait,
But it's an acorn. It's an acorn.
Oh, is it an acorn? There we go. It was a bright pink.
I'll tap that saw your fucking shrink.
He's got a little speedo on, little swoops. Here we're done with the challenge. Now they mentioned going through and polishing it up and seeing how it goes, and we both like the idea of them riding the top, so they ended up going to bed, but I stayed on and I did some polishing for about an hour and a half. The initial challenge was about an hour 20, so this one I worked on it for like an hour and a half, so in total it was around 3 hours pretty much. But I'm just going in, and my plan is just to try giving the parts that maybe didn't get a lot of love and attention some of that attention, which includes pretty much everything. Like redoing the feet on them. I'll go through, work at the tail. I'll go through, work on the head. Start off, I go through and I just add some noise going on with the standard brush, and I change it to a regular like alpha, just an alpha that's built inside of ZBrush, and I'm adding all this just lines, and I'm trying to find the flow of the object, giving it some detail. If it looks smooth and weird and unrealistic, trying to mix that up. If it's a bony part, I like using the noise brush or some other brushes like flakes. Then I'm adding the eyes, I'm increasing them, making them look bigger and cat-like, since we mentioned the part of it looking like a cat, and I actually duplicated the eyes so they have back eyes and top eyes, because I thought it looks kind of cool. And then I'm just adjusting the eye color, and you'll see I give it a shadow here at the top and the bottom, which is something I think is super important. I used to not do that, but I think it adds just a level of realism that you can't really get, especially inside of ZBrush, just because of how the shader works. Then I move on to the feet and the legs. We're working on the anatomy part of those. I touch them a little bit, but I go back there and I really start going on them. They're just very difficult. They're not based off anything, and I still don't have reference at this part. I thought about pulling it up, but to stay true to it, I didn't. So I go in and I start making up anatomy, finding what looks cool, trying to make something that looks cool and wild, but maybe looks like it will work. If you're crazy anatomy, you probably will be like, oh, those muscles won't work, but they look cool. And to someone that doesn't know it, they just look cool. And that's how my brain is thinking here. So I'm going in and I'm adding all these tendons and bones and coloring it up, making it look sick and all this stuff going on. And then I go ahead and you'll see that I apply a surface noise to stuff. That's just like a little lumpy part. You don't do that everywhere, and it's very subtle. It just adds a little breakup, especially because the material I made is a custom made material, and it has a very high specular value. And with that, the noise there, it breaks up the spec and it kind of makes it look cool. Especially when doing stuff like this, a lot of it is going off of vibes, and we talked about that before the sculpt, about a lot of this reason we do a lot of stuff is vibes. They said that in Blender they will go into cycles and look at shadows sometimes when sculpting to try to get the vibes and find where stuff should go, which is super cool. Then I'm going back through with the standard brush and I'm mixing up the alpha here and there, and I'm just going ahead and adding some more noise to it and breaking up the model and adjusting the head. Speaking of Blender, that's another thing that I think I might do here sometime in the future. We brought up, I sculpt using Zbrush, but I think one of these times I'll try doing a sculpt using Blender just to see how it goes, see what Zbrush to Blender really looks like, and play with that a bit. I'd be lying if I said I didn't try it out a little bit. I used it a very bit of amount of times, Blender's sculpting features. I used Blender itself in quite a bit of other aspects, but its sculpting features, I tried them out. Wasn't too big of a fan, never did anything big or crazy. I just did like a quick little whatever. I know like the basics of holding R to make a remesh grid and Shift R, Control R to remesh. That's really it when it comes to sculpting, but I'm sure it'll translate fine. But they added some Vulkan mode, so I'll probably give that a go. One mistake I did with the tails, for sure. Actually, I wouldn't say a mistake, but I could have saved on time, is I do each one individually here. I could have just done one and then reduplicated them and moved them into place. However, doing them separately gave each one kind of its own personality, something different going on it. It's something that most people won't notice, but I would notice. So I guess it's kind of worth it. Especially working on these bottom parts here, it's probably not going to be noticed much because it's covered by other tails, but I still think it looks pretty cool. One of these days I need to flip the pattern where I do the hard part on top, like the rougher looking, and the whiter one on the top and the blacker part on the bottom. But working on the main character here, you'll see that I tried lightening him up and changing the colors a bit. If I could go back in time, I would give him not a brown color. I would make him look and stand out separate from him, because when you zoom out and look at everything, it is kind of hard to tell that he's even there, just because he blends in with everything, and the bottom character is so noisy that it's kind of distracting, and it's hard to tell unless you're really paying attention that, oh, there's a dude riding this thing. It kind of definitely meshes together. But going ahead, adding some earrings and accessories, broke symmetry on him, so I can't keep using the symmetry value, so I have to go in and do it separately a bit. And you'll see I used that part there kind of like a saddle. I believe we both did. We kind of saddled him up on top, and I'm just adding wrinkles and whatnot up there, and the eyes, and playing around with him some more. Nothing too crazy. I'm about coming up on an hour 50 or an hour 30 here, near the last 20-ish minutes. I believe I do some lighting stuff and just play with some like thumbnailing. Again, if you want to see Janice's point of view, I definitely recommend going to check their channel out. They did awesome on this, and we'll probably definitely be doing some more stuff in the future. Please check the description. I'll have a link to their channel there. Still just touching up the face. You'll see I gave it a surface noise also, and then I'm just adjusting some of the contrast items on him. I was thinking of doing an air pack here where I go through and re-contrast things even more, but I decided not to, and to call it there. Might return to it and give it some posing where they're actually like look like they're running or something like that. But from here on, you see that I start to back things up and thumbnail it, and you'll see that I take my document and I move it far out. And that's just because it kind of helps me see what grabs my eye. I definitely can get better at this thumbnailing, but it's just a cool trick. It helps you with the silhouette and what snags your eye better, and then you can save those. But yeah, cool. Anyways, thank you for watching. That's pretty much it. Again, go check out Janice's channel and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, and leave a comment about maybe some other ideas, what you like and what you didn't like. And yeah, you all have a good rest of your day. Peace.